Breaker of this world's chain, we adore thee, whom all men love. Spotless, taking man's form, O purifier, thou art above the gunas three. Knowledge divine, not flesh, thou whom the cosmos wears, a diamond at its heart. Let us look deep in thine eyes. They are bright with the wisdom of God, that can wake us from Maya's spell. Let us hold fast to thy feet, treading the waves of the world to safety. O drunk with love, God drunken lover, in thee all paths of all yogas meet. Lord of the worlds, thou art ours, who wert born a child of our time, easy of access to us. O merciful, if we take any hold upon God in our prayer, it is by thy grace alone, since all thine austerities were practiced for our sake. How great was thy sacrifice, freely choosing thy birth in this prison, our iron age, to unchain us and set us free. Perfect, whom lust could not taint, nor passion nor gold draw near. O Master of all who renounce, fill our hearts full of love for thee. Thou hast finished with fear and with doubt, standing firm in the vision of God, refuge to all who have cast fame, fortune, and friends away. Without question thou shelterest us, and the world's great sea in its wrath seems shrunk to the puddle that fills the hoofprint in the clay. Speech cannot hold thee, nor mind, yet without thee we think not, nor speak. Love, who art partial to none, we are equal before thy sight. Taker away of our pain, we salute thee, though we are blind. Come to the heart's black cave, and illumine, thou light of the light.
Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatar varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Today is a very auspicious day, the birth tithi of Swami Vijnananandaji Maharaj, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, and he was also the fourth president of the Ramakrishna Mott and Mission. And we'll read a little bit of his life story and some incidents from his life and from the book, The God Lived with Them. Swami Vijnanananda's pre-monastic name was Hari Prasanna Chattopadhyay. He was born on Friday, 30th October 1868 in Etwa, Uttar Pradesh, where his father, Taraknath Chattopadhyay, worked in the commissariat of the British government. Hari Prasanna was the eldest of 6 children, 2 boys and 4 girls. As Taraknath's job transferred him to different places, the children lived with their mother, Nakuleshwari Devi, at Varanasi, Kashi, where Hari Prasanna began his primary education. In 1879, his mother moved with her children to their ancestral home at Belghoria, near Dakshineshwar. Hari Prasanna entered the Hare School in Calcutta, and in 1882 he passed the entrance examination. From his childhood, Hari Prasanna had a religious temperament and a tremendous passion for truth. Once, when he was about 14, his mother falsely accused him of something and scolded him. He protested vehemently, and when he failed to convince his mother of his innocence, he tore off his sacred thread and cried out, "If I tell a lie, I am not a Brahmin." Nakuleshwari Devi was taken aback and became afraid that some misfortune might befall the family. Strangely enough, the very next day, a cable from Quetta, Afghanistan at that time, brought the news of his father's death. His mother, grief-stricken, said to Hari Prasanna, "See the result of your curse." So this was his childhood, and he first met with Sri Ramakrishna at the age of 7 years. When he first saw Sri Ramakrishna, he later recalled himself. "I first saw Sri Ramakrishna in 1875 at Belghoria in the garden house of Joy Gopal Sen. The master came to visit Keshav Sen in that retreat house. I was then a little boy. I was playing with my friends and then, just by chance, saw the master there. At that time, the paths of the garden house were covered with red brick dust. Many people came. The master was seated in a room. After seeing him, I returned to my home nearby. The second time Hari Prasanna saw him, Sri Ramakrishna was immersed in Samadhi at Diwan Govinda Mukhopadhyay's house in Belghoria. This is also in Belghoria. He later described the scene. A young man, Narendranath, was singing a devotional song, Joy, 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 Dayamaya, Joy, Dayamaya. Victory to the compassionate Lord, victory to the compassionate Lord. Sri Ramakrishna was standing in the center of the group, and another young man, Baburam, was holding, later Premananda, was holding him so that he would not fall. The master was completely oblivious of his surroundings. He wore a white cloth. His face, his face shone with heavenly lustre, and smile played on his lips. His teeth were visible, and there was such a joyful expression on his face that it seemed as if it would crack like a cracked melon. His eyes seemed to be gazing at something, and he appeared to be immersed in an ocean of bliss. Another thing that struck me has remained imprinted in my memory forever. From the base of Master's spine right up to his head, the whole column had become inflated like a thick robe, and the energy that rose upward towards the brain seemed to be spreading its hood and swaying its head like a snake dancing in joy. So that was his impression about Sri Ramakrishna the first and second time. In 1883, Hari Prasanna entered St. Xavier's College, where Swami Sharadanandaji Maharaj, at that time Sharat Chandra Chakraborty, and famous noted editor of Prabhashi magazine, Sri Ramananda Chattopadhyay, were his classmates. On 26 November 1883, he and Sharat went by boat to see Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar with another classmate, Borodapal. Arriving in the afternoon, they saw the master briefly as he was about to leave for Mani Mallik's house in Calcutta. However, the master invited them to come to Calcutta in Mani Mallik's house, so they returned to Calcutta by boat. Hari Prasanna attended the festival at Mani Mallik's house and returned home late that evening. He later described what happened, and I quote, "My mother scolded me. When she heard that I had gone to see Sri Ramakrishna, she said, 'My goodness, you went to that crazy Brahmin. He has deranged the brains of 350 young men.' It was indeed mental derangement. Even now, my brain is hot. I did not pay any attention to my mother's scolding. During his college days, Hari Prasanna visited Sri Ramakrishna several times at Dakshineshwar temple garden. He later related those wonderful reminiscences to some devotees. On Sri Krishna's birthday, 18 August 1884, Hari Prasanna went to see the master at Dakshineshwar. That evening, he decided to spend the night there. He recalled his experience. Sometime later, the master gave me some luchis, fried bread, and sweets, which were the Divine Mother's prasad. Sri Ramakrishna made a bed for me and set up the mosquito curtain. I fell asleep as soon as I lay down. At midnight, I woke up and found the master walking around my bed, saying, "Mother, Mother." I was dumbfounded and could not understand what was going on. That night, Sri Ramakrishna blessed me. So he gave another description. One day he visited, and I felt Sri Ramakrishna's room vibrating with a tangible atmosphere of peace, and the devotees present seemed to be listening in blissful absorption to the words that poured from the Master's lips. I don't recall what he said, but I experienced tremendous joy within. I sat there for a long time, my whole attention concentrated on Sri Ramakrishna. He did not say anything to me, nor did I ask him anything. Then, one by one, the devotees took their leave, and suddenly I found myself alone with him. The Master was looking at me intently. I thought it was time for me to depart. So I prostrated before him. As I stood up to go, he asked, "Can you wrestle? Come, let me see how well you wrestle." With these words, he stood up, ready to grapple with me. I was surprised at this challenge. I thought to myself, what kind of holy man is this? But I replied, "Yes, of course." I replied to him, "Yes, of course, I can wrestle." He was a bodybuilder at that time. So Sri Ramakrishna came closer, smiling. He caught hold of my arms and began to shove me. But I was strong, muscular young man, and I pushed him back to the wall. He was still smiling and holding me with a strong grip. Gradually, I felt a sort of electric current coming out of his hands and entering into me. That touch made me completely helpless. I lost all my physical strength. I went into ecstasy, and the hair of my body stood on end. Releasing me, the Master said with a smile, "Well, you are the winner." With those words, he sat down on his cot again. I was speechless. Wave after wave of bliss engulfed my whole being. I was pondering the fact that the Master had not won physically, but his spiritual power had completely subdued me. Some time passed, and then the Master got up from his seat. Patting me gently on the back, he said, "Come here often. It is not enough to come once." Then he offered me some sweets as prasad, and I returned to Calcutta. For days, the spell of that intoxicating joy lingered, and I realized that he had transmitted spiritual power to me. Sri Ramakrishna later said of Vijnanananda, he wrestled with Krishna in his previous incarnation. He is not an ordinary person. The Master's disciple felt an irresistible attraction for their Guru. They learned more by observing his exemplary life and listening to his talks than from books. Hari Prasanna described another night's stay with the Master. One evening I went to Dakshineshwar and expressed to the Master my desire to stay overnight. He gladly gave his consent. There was no suitable eating arrangement at night in Dakshineshwar. Every night some prasad of the Divine Mother would be sent to the Master for his supper, and from that he would eat a little and distribute the remainder among those who stayed with him. The master's night meal was very small, like a bird's food. He would eat a couple of luchis, a little farina pudding, and some sweets. When I saw the small quantity of prasad, I was upset. I realized that I would have to fast that night. I was then young, with a well-built body and a large appetite. That little bit of prasad was not enough for me. Knowing what was in my mind, the master asked somebody to bring some chapatis, flattened bread, and vegetable curry for me from the Nahabat. Even that amount of food was not sufficient for me. But I ate it and lay down on the floor in the master's room. At midnight, I suddenly woke up and saw the master pacing back and forth in his room. Sometimes he would go to the front veranda muttering something, or he would chant the names of gods and goddesses while clapping his hands. During the day, the master talked and joked with the devotees, but now at night, he was quite different. I was scared to death. I lay in bed, quietly observing the master's madness. I could not get back to sleep. Sometimes the master sang and danced, and sometimes he talked with someone. At last, the night passed, and I was relieved. In the morning, the master was normal again. When I returned home, my sister asked, "Why did you stay last night?" "At the temple garden at Dakshineshwar," I replied. Immediately she exclaimed, "Did you stay with that mad Brahmin of Dakshineshwar? Don't go to that man again. He's really mad. I go there very often to bathe in the Ganges. I have seen him and I know about his madness." I listened to her words and smiled. Sri Ramakrishna was very concerned about his disciples' welfare. If any one of them did not visit him for a while, he would ask someone about that person. Once, when Hari Prasanna did not come to Dakshineshwar for a long time, the master sent for him. When he arrived, the master asked why he had been absent for so long. Hari Prasanna replied truthfully, "Sir, I didn't feel like coming. Moreover, I try to meditate, but I find I cannot." "What do you mean? You can't meditate?" exclaimed the master. After remaining silent for a few moments, he said, "Come near me." Hari Prasanna related that what happened there then. As I approached the master, he asked me to stick out my tongue. When I did, he drew a figure on it with his finger. My whole body began to tremble, and I felt an unspeakable bliss within. Then the master said, "Go to the Panchavati and meditate there." Following his instruction, I slowly moved towards the Panchavati. I walked with difficulty, intoxicated with joy from the master's touch. Somehow I reached there and sat for meditation. Then I lost all outward consciousness. When I regained my ordinary state of mind, I saw the master seated by me. He was rubbing my body with his hands. His face shone with a heavenly smile. I was still in an intoxicated mood. He asked me, "Well, how was your meditation?" "It was very good, sir," I replied. Then the master said, "From now on, you will always have deep meditation." He further asked, "Did you have a vision?" I reported my experience to the master as faithfully as I could. Then I followed him to his room. I was alone with him. That day he talked to me for a long time and gave me many spiritual instructions. I was overwhelmed by master's love and compassion for me. I had not realized before that he had so much feeling for me. Sri Ramakrishna's grace was boundless. On that day, the master said to me, "Never get involved with women. Always be careful. Let there be no stain on your character. Never look at a woman, even if she is made out of gold." Do you know why I am saying all this to you? You belong to the Divine Mother, and you will have to do a lot of work for her. A picked fruit cannot be offered to the Mother. So I tell you, be careful. Another incident, his narrating. Once during my college days, when I went to visit the master at Dakshineshwar, I asked him, "Is God with form or without form?" The master replied, "God is with form as well as without form. And again, He is beyond both form and formlessness." Then I asked, "If God is all, is this court also God?" He answered emphatically, "Yes, this court is God. This glass, this utensil, this wall, everything is God." As he spoke, I experienced an inner transformation and was lifted beyond the realm of ordinary consciousness. My heart was illumined and I saw the light of Brahman everywhere. During my youth, I had read the philosophies of Kant, Hegel, and other great philosophers. One day I said to the master, "Sir, what do you know about philosophy? Have you read the works of Kant and Hegel?" He replied, "What are you saying? Throw away all those books. Knowledge of God is not in any book. Those books are all products of ignorance." What a great statement the master made. Later, finding no way out, I gave up arguing. In the beginning, we need faith for God realization. Once at Dakshineshwar, the master gave me an English book and asked me to read and explain it to him. It was stated in the book, "Speak the truth, do not covet what belongs to another, control your senses." On hearing this, the master felt elated like a boy and expressed his great delight. The master's joy even now is deeply impressed in my mind. I think that his expression of great delight was due to the fact that if a person attains perfection in those three disciplines, he is sure to reach God. Whenever he heard any discussion about God, he would go into ecstasy. When the master was blessed for the first time with the vision of the Divine Mother, he thought, "If this vision of mine is true, then let this big stone, which was in front of the Nahabat, jump up thrice." Immediately, the stone did, in fact, jump thrice. Whatever he thought came to pass. Seeing this, the master was fully convinced of the genuineness of his visions. Hari Prasanna was not able to spend a great deal of time with the master, but the unbounded grace of his Guru filled his heart towards the end of Sri Ramakrishna's life. Pointing to his own picture, he told Hari Prasanna, "Look, I dwell in this picture, meditate on me." "Yes, I will," replied Hari Prasanna. In 1885, Hari Prasanna passed his first arts examination in the first division at St. Xavier's College. He then moved to Bankipur in the state of Bihar and entered Patna College to study for a BA degree. Hari Prasanna later recalled, "The day the master passed away, 16th August, I saw him standing in front of me." This Patna was a few hundred kilometers away from Calcutta. So I saw him standing in front of me. I wondered, how did the master come here? What is the cause of this vision? The next day, I read of the master's passing away in the Bosumati newspaper. Bosumati was a paper started by Upen Babu. Upen Babu was a disciple of master and he was blessed on the Kalpataru day. Yes, Upen was very poor and had a desire to have wealth, and master blessed, yes. And Bosumati owner and his wife, they are devotees and always helped Ramakrishna Mission and spread master's message. Naturally, Hari Prasanna grieved, but he remembered what the master had once said to him. "Do you know why I love you? You boys are my very own. The Divine Mother has asked me to love you." Hari Prasanna later remarked, "I cannot express how much love the master had for us. We don't have that capacity to love others. We become intoxicated seeing the master, and now people are intoxicated just by hearing his name. How blessed they are." So as a student of engineer from Patna College, after passing the BA, he entered into Pune College of Science and studied civil engineering there to help his another poor classmate Radhika Prasad Rai. He did not appear in the final examination because in those days there was the rule that whoever would stand first and second in Pune Engineering College would get a job in the Bombay Presidency or in the central government of India. So he did not appear at the examination, but his friend could not, neither he was true to his word. Although Radhika Prasad did not place first or second, he remembered Hari Prasanna's greatness all through his life because this boy was poor. And in that engineering college, in those days, engineering books were very costly and it was not that available easily. So he, whatever he could purchase, he kept it for not taking it, made a library so that other brothers also coming next year or in their same batchmates, they could also use and have the benefit of this book bank. Once in college, Hari Prasanna protested the remark of a Christian missionary professor of geology who had sarcastically criticized the Hindu belief in reincarnation. One day in the classroom, he was telling, see, your mother is gazing. A cow was gazing in the nearby field, and he was sarcastically criticizing and getting joy in that. And then Hari Prasanna said, sir, how can you explain a virgin giving birth to a child? Then he was red-faced, so he was very angry and he did not give the proper marks. As a result, the professor intentionally gave him a lower mark in geology than he really earned. Due to this mark, he placed second instead of first in his final examination. Despite this, after graduating in civil engineering in 1892, he was given the job of district engineer at Gazipur in Uttar Pradesh. While in this position, the Varanasi-Gazipur road was built under his supervision. During this time, he met Pauhari Baba, the great yogi of Gazipur, who was highly esteemed by Swami Vivekananda. As a government engineer, Hari Prasanna worked at Etwa, Bulandsahar, Meerut and other places in Uttar Pradesh. During these years of government services, he kept in close contact with his brother disciples and donated 60 rupees every month to the Ramakrishna monastery. Sometimes the disciples visited him and stayed with him when they were sick, and he served them with loving care. Because of his father died in his childhood, Hari Prasanna had to work until his family was financially secure. So when Swami Vivekananda came, before his coming, Swami Vivekananda returned in 1897, and he joined Alombajar Math in 1896. He lived there humbly and spent most of his time in jopam and meditation. He was a man of his few words and did not care for chatting and joking as others did. Swami Vivekananda returned to India from the West in 1897 and took Hari Prasanna with him on his travels in the western provinces and northern India. During his tour, he visited old Hindu temples of Rajputana. Vivekananda discussed the architecture of the future Ramakrishna temple with him and expressed his own ideas as to how the temple should be in future in Belur Math temple and should be built. On their return to the monastery, Hari Prasanna drew a sketch of the Ramakrishna temple, present temple at Belur Math, using Swamiji's ideas as his guide. He also consulted with Mr. Gitter, a noted architect at that time. Swamiji was pleased when he saw the sketch and said, this temple will certainly come up, but I may not live to see it. I will see it from on high. So on 9th May 1899, Hari Prasanna formally took sannyas. Swamiji asked him, yes, you go, do this as we have done. Take your sannyas directly from the master. Accordingly, Hari Prasanna went to Sri Ramakrishna's shrine and took his monastic vows with the traditional Biroja Homa ceremony. He became known as Swami Vijnanananda. So we come to an end. He started living in Allahabad, Triveni. There he had the vision of Mother Triveni. One day after his birth, while reciting a hymn to the Mother Ganges, Vijnanananda had a vision. The goddess Mother Triveni appeared as a beautiful young girl with 3 braids hanging down her back and then disappeared again into the water. He was overwhelmed by the vision. After chanting, when he began to walk towards the ashram, he saw Mother Triveni walking in the same direction with her braids dangling. After a while, she disappeared. When Brahmananda heard about this vision, he confirmed it was as a genuine. Vivekananda himself said, "The test of a true vision is this: it leaves a lasting spiritual impression on the mind that generates awareness and bliss. I still get joy when I think of that virginal form of the Divine Mother." So he founded an ashram there, and from there he used to come to Varanasi and Allahabad. It is nearly 100 kilometers. And in Varanasi also, in 1909, went to Varanasi to supervise the construction of the Ramakrishna Mission Home of Service in Varanasi. While riding from the railway station, he met an accident. His horse carriage overturned and his leg was a little twisted and fractured. So somehow he managed to come to the ashram, and doctors and others took care. But he had high temperature and terrible headache. He thought to himself, he fell asleep, and at night he was thinking, "Lord Vishwanath, I have come to your city to work for the Master. This is an unselfish action. Why has this accident happened? The Master's work will suffer." Thinking thus, he fell asleep. Vivekananda later narrated the following experience. "It was 1 or 2 a.m. I saw Lord Shiva with matted hair and smiling face appear before me. I said, 'Lord, have you come to take me? But I cannot go now. I have to complete the Master's work first.' He did not listen to me. Smiling, he came forward and then he embraced me. Immediately my body became as cold as ice. I then said to him, 'Goodbye. Goodbye now, Lord. I shall have to do the Master's work.' Lord Shiva laughed and left. Strangely enough, in the morning I felt no fever, and also my wounds were healed to some extent. Even now, sometimes I see that calm, smiling form of the Lord Shiva." So he was called by Swami Brahmananda a Gupta Brahmogani, a hidden Brahmogani, knower of the Brahman. So he had many visions of gods and goddesses, divine visions. And from Varanasi in 1918, he visited Saranath. Saranath is the place where Buddhadev, after his enlightenment, first delivered his sermon. So I saw a formless ocean in Saranath of light, and the whole universe was gradually merging into it. Like a speck, I was watching that blissful glow with wonder, standing on the shore of the ocean of light. I was beside myself. Then, in the twinkling of an eye, the universe completely disappeared, and from the ocean of that pure consciousness, the compassionate, loving form of Buddha appeared. What a joy! So he said, "I do not feel like that I have lost it. Whenever I think, I visualize this, and it brings joy to my mind." So in this way, he had many visions. He did many pilgrimages, visited various holy places, Ramakrishna Math in Madras, and Goddess Meenakshi, Kanchipuram, Madurai, Kanyakumari. And then he visited Rameswaram, Bangalore, Mysore, Utkamand. And Vivekananda told the devotees in Madras, "The goal of human life is to realize God, because only that can give us real and permanent peace. Truly, it is the ego, a product of ignorance, which has covered our God vision." Once someone asked Sri Ramakrishna, "Why can't we see God?" He immediately covered his face with a towel and asked, "Can you see my face?" "No, because this towel is the barrier, yet I am seated in front of you." Similarly, remove the veil of ignorance which is between you and God, and you will see Him everywhere. So, in Chitrakoot, where the Lord Ramachandra stayed, he also visited there, Dwaraka, Bhubaneswar, Konark Sun Temple, Jairambati, Kamarpukur, and many other places, Dhaka, Bangladesh, Borishal. And in December 1936, Vivekananda went to Rangoon, the capital of Burma, and he stayed there, visited other places. associated with the temple, Hindu temples. And in 1936, Vivekananda heard that Prince Edward VIII had renounced the throne of England in order to marry an American woman. The Swami commented, "Look, the prince gave up such a vast empire, wealth, honor, and everything just for a woman. So a woman is greater than an empire. And again, God is greater than a woman who renounces anything for God. Who renounces anything for God? God is the greatest of everything. Upon gaining Him, one knows that there is no greater gain. But it is extremely difficult to attain Him. The prince's renunciation of the empire is praiseworthy. Renunciation of any kind is good. It increases mental strength and dispassion. Today he has renounced the empire. Perhaps in the future he may give up that woman." When his attendant came to bow down to him, the Swami said, "Today you won't get food in the monastery. Edward VIII has given up such a vast empire. Will you not be able to give up food for one day?" When the monk agreed to fast, Vivekananda said, "Look, the king has renounced his kingdom for a woman. What a play of Mahamaya." The Swami continued to praise renunciation, then finally said, "There is little hope of making any progress in spiritual life without renunciation." So at Belur Math was founded on 9th December 1898. Swami Vivekananda founded, and he said to his disciple, "The master once told me, I will go and live anywhere, wherever it will be your pleasure to take me, carrying me on your shoulders, be it under a tree or in the humblest cottage." So Belur Math was very holy because master's relics were there. Swamiji carried it and installed it there. So this Belur Math construction, and finally to dedicate the temple, Master's temple, consecration of the Sri Ramakrishna temple, it took place when Vivekanandaji became president. Raja Maharaj could not do, Mahapurush Maharaj could not do, Agundandaji could not do. It fell on the shoulder of Vivekanandaji. And on Friday, 14 January 1938, the Swami got up early in the morning, put on a new ochre cloth. He sat quietly in his chair, waiting for the auspicious moment. He said to his attendant, "When I install the master in the new temple, I shall say to Swamiji, your consecrated deity has now been installed in the temple you planned. You said that you would watch from on high. Please see now that the master is seated in the new temple." So after the installation and consecration, and the attendant asked, "Yes, I said to Swamiji, have you talked to Swamiji?" "Yes, I said to Swamiji, you told me that you would watch from on high. Please see, now the master is seated in the new temple." Then I vividly saw Swamiji, Rakhal Maharaj, Mahapurush Maharaj, Sharat Maharaj, Hori Maharaj, Gangadhar Maharaj, and others standing in the southwest corner watching the consecration ceremony. After a while, the Swami said, "Now my work is over. Today I am relieved of the responsibility that Swamiji entrusted on me." And he went back to Allahabad again. The news of Vivekananda's serious condition spread. On Sunday, 24th April, some monks from Varanasi came with a doctor. No one dared to tell him to take allopathic medicine. He won't take any allopathic medicine. He would say, "Master is the greatest doctor. I am under his care." So the doctor prescribed a homeopathic medicine and asked the attendant to give it to him mixed with water. The next day at 10 a.m., the doctor came again and asked Vivekananda, "How are you?" "I am fine," replied the Swami. His eyes were closed and his face was serene as if he were immersed in meditation. When his attendants tried to change his position, he made a little noise, indicating that his end was imminent. A monk put a little Ganges water into his mouth, and other monks began to chant, "Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya," salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. Vivekananda's face beamed with joy, and he passed away at 3:20 p.m. on Monday, 25th April. 1938. The next day, the monks and devotees carried his body to the confluence of the Ganges and Jamuna, placed it in a stone coffin, and then immersed it into that holy water where he had once had the vision of the Mother Triveni. Swami Vivekananda's life verified that God is not a myth and that religion means the realization of God. His spiritual experiences silenced the speculation of those who only talked of religion and removed the doubts of many agnostics and atheists. Once a prominent barrister of Calcutta said to the Swami, Maharaj, we don't understand God. We understand money, property, and the material world. Swami Vivekananda listened to him with closed eyes. Then placing his hand on his own chest, he said, whatever you say is true from your standpoint, but I have experienced the one pervading consciousness behind this manifested world. I have seen it with my own eyes. The barrister was speechless. Another time a monk asked the Swami, do you see the Master even now? Pointing to the picture of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda replied, the Master is there. He is always near me. Of course, I see him whenever it is necessary. He is guiding me. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Hari Om Tat Sat.